The Michigan Wolverines got some really, really good news on Wednesday. We're going to talk about it. Got some football, got some basketball here. 3 or 4 pieces of good news, however you want to categorize it here. But I do think the last one is some not just good news, some great news that could lead Michigan to not only being a national championship contender next season, no, but possibly even being a back-to-back national champion. Listen, with Dusty May and the way he's got this Michigan program reeling right now, the type of investment we're seeing for the roster budget and everything else, Dusty May's not going anywhere anytime soon, and we're going to talk about why that is in the last point. But before we get to the last point, let's talk some football. All right, we got some football discussions here a little bit. Steve Wiltfong, he had his expert predictions, as you see, he predicted a couple guys to USC, not uncommon, and then look at that. Kamden Lopati, the 4-star quarterback, is predicted to flip from Illinois to Michigan. Kamden Lopati, the 6'2", 225, out of where is he from? Not out of Illinois. I almost said out of Illinois. Out of Utah. I don't know why I almost thought Illinois, but he's committed to Illinois, so that's probably why. But out of Utah. Obviously, a good relationship with Kyle Whittingham, most likely here. For him to be making the flip from Illinois to Michigan, this gives Michigan stability moving forward. It's not a Bryce Young or anything like that, but this does go to show, that Kyle Whittingham is going to continue to work to not just give this Michigan team a good chance on the recruiting trail close to home, but also in a new area where Michigan has recruited some, the Dakotas, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, they've been a little bit over there, but this could solidify recruiting over there even more. I think this would be a fantastic addition for Michigan if they do get the flip to happen. We'll see if Steve Wiltfong's prediction comes to be correct, but that is something that I think we could be looking for in the coming days. Good football news there. Now let's get to the basketball news a little bit. Let's move on to the basketball news. So, of course, LJ Cason, everybody's aware, got the injury this season, later on in the season, so he wasn't able to redshirt or anything like that. But he did wait until after the playoff run or the NCAA tournament run to get his surgery, which is huge for Michigan, honestly, because this is going to sound bad that I say it like that, but here's the excerpt from the article. It says, Cason told us during the Final Four he would have surgery tomorrow, April 9th. So that is actually today, Thursday, if you're watching this, then the day it's released, to repair his injured knee. He already made the decision to redshirt next season. Now, you might be saying, JR, it's not good that LJ Cason is redshirting. We don't want that to happen. LJ Cason, a good basketball player, somebody who did really good things for us this season. But my point would be, one of the reasons why LJ Cason was so integral this season was because there was some concern with Elliott Cadeau, mainly by the outside people out there, but, Michigan fans believed in Elliott Cadeau. There were some that maybe didn't believe in him as much, but he went on and showed he's perfectly fine as the guard of this Michigan team. He's coming back next year. So if you have Elliott Cadeau, you have a whole lot of confidence in him. LJ Cason says, okay, well, I'm going to redshirt. That's actually fantastic news for the Michigan Wolverines because they know what their roster outlook looks like even more. One of the biggest disadvantages you can have in the portal is not knowing what your roster is going to look like. It's something that Illinois is going through right now a little bit. They're just now having their roster retention talk. As Brad Underwood said, he gave the guys some time off before they started having these discussions. Well, that's fine and that's good, but it does kind of put you behind a little bit to really figure out where do you want to go. Now, the dead period and not being able to visit until Friday, that is helping the situation here to give some of these teams that were in the Final Four and the national championship some more time. So that definitely helps them out here. But this is huge news. This is a great move by LJ Cason to be a team player, notify his guys. He's not going to try to go through the summer and say, no, I can do it, coach, I can do it. Because if that happens, then you're going to have a situation where LJ Cason, maybe he can't do it. And that's one less roster spot that you might not be able to reconcile with. And so maybe there was some kind of NIL or rev share or something like that they said, hey, if you make this decision now, not saying they tried to make him make that decision, but if you make that decision now, then maybe that'll give us more roster clarity and stuff like that. And so overall, it's a great thing for Michigan. Obviously, you would love to have LJ Cason next season, but if you can't have him for next season, it's a great thing that Michigan knows they won't have him for next season, as he'll be redshirting, and that definitely gives them some more flexibility with what they might be able to do. Now, the third and final piece of news, which is huge news for Michigan, is Juke Harris. Oh, that's on the board. I apologize. I shouldn't have pulled up the board there, but I'll pull up the tweet here. Wake Forest star transfer Juke Harris met with Michigan today. A source told him. First was by Pack Insider. The 6'7" sophomore guard averaged 21.4 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, 1.3 steals per game. Highly regarded as one of the best transfers in the country. This is a huge development for Michigan next season. And I've even heard that he could be visiting this weekend as well. I don't think there's anything set in stone with that yet. Maybe by the time you're listening to this, there is something set in stone with that, and that comes out. But it does not sound like there's anything set in stone with that yet. But I would not be surprised if we get an announcement on Thursday, or maybe something pops up on Friday that he's on campus. And Juke Harris would be a huge piece to add to this Michigan team for next season with the starting lineup. We'll go over the starting lineup, possibly the starting lineup, in just a second, because the other piece of good news – I mean, like, good news just keeps rolling in for Michigan at this point, is that Flory Bidunga, the star big man out of Kansas, he is somebody that is getting interest from Michigan as well. So Jeff Goodman here, Goodman Hoop, says Kansas big man transfer Flory Bidunga's list as of now is Duke, Michigan, St. John's, and Louisville. Sources told the Field of 68. Very interesting stuff here. Great news for Michigan to know they're going to be in here. Now, I got to say, it's diabolical of Jeff Goodman to be putting their Michigan State right next to Michigan, or St. John's right next to Michigan there. I thought it was Michigan State and not Michigan first. So kind of threw me for a loop there, Jeff, but a great development for Michigan. Dusty May, he is getting right into it. He's not satisfied with just one national championship. He's going to go after it for more, as many as he possibly can. And you're looking at a situation where, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here a little bit, but if you did land Juke Harris and Flory Bidunga, and as we know, Michigan's going to have the money to be able to do this. They didn't, they weren't like the highest spender last season, obviously, but there's going to be more investment. You win a national championship, and those fans are going to continue to invest. The donors are going to continue to invest, similar to Illinois, like we talked about earlier in the live stream episode. But in this scenario, you could see more investment for Michigan, which would be huge, where you could see a possible starting lineup of Elliott Cadeau, who played fantastic at the end of the season there in the Final Four, had a few missed shots, but the way he was able to maneuver and work with Ade Mara, they really found something special together. And if you can find another big man to give him something special on the offensive end, that would be huge. Trey McKinney, fantastic shooting guard, number 2 for this team. He would be a fantastic addition to the starting lineup as well. I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. He's a future NBA player. Fantastic stuff. You could play Juke Harris at the 3. I know he's more of a guard, so you would have kind of more of a guard lineup here, with 3 guards, but he's got the size to be able to play the 3 as well. So it would be a very interesting situation to see if that could happen. And then you would have Merez Johnson possibly coming back. You might have Ade Mara come back. I tend to think Ade Mara is probably going to the NBA. That's another one of those things. Like, this is why you want to have like the LJ Cason stuff figured out, because the NBA draft and everything does just make things so difficult to try to figure out. Not just like, what do we want our roster to be, but like, who are we paying? Who are we not paying type of deal. I have heard that Juke Harris is probably more serious about the NBA draft than maybe some people think he is, but we also went through this situation last year with Yaxel Lindeborg, right? So Michigan has experience going through this situation, being able to tell Juke Harris, hey, look what we just did with Yaxel. We're going to put you in a situation where you're going to be utilized favorably. Maybe he wins Big Ten Player of the Year, who knows? But you're going to be utilized favorably. You're going to be an offensive weapon for us, and we're going to continue to build your draft stock for the NBA draft, just like they did for Yaxel. Yaxel Lindeborg. And then finally, Flory Bidunga at the 5 spot. Now, Flory is a bit more of a 4 in some ways than a 5. He's not a bad 5 by any means, but he is more of a 4. But I do think if you do have Merez Johnson, you afford a bit of the chance to be okay with, playing Bidunga at the 5 because you do have some versatility there. Where Merez Johnson, good defender, really good rebounder, ferocious, incredible competitor out there. And so you would have some more ability to go with that type of situation. So we'll see what happens. Right now, Michigan on FanDuel is tied for first at national title odds for next season, plus 750. They're tied up there at first with Duke. It's Michigan. It's an incredible scenario for Michigan this season or this coming season. And I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. Folks, we have what could be becoming a dynasty in college basketball right now. We'll see what happens. I didn't even bring up the Jeff Goodman tweet there. I apologize. I left it on the board. I said I was going to move it along, but then I kept the board up there. Whoops. My bad. I didn't scroll on it or anything, so we're all good. But this is the Jeff Goodman tweet of Kansas big man Flory Bidunga, Duke, Michigan, St. John's, and Louisville. All right, good news here for Michigan. We'll see how it turns out for him.